Dimitri, owner of Epic Kites, and today's video is gonna be on how to take off. Oops! Well, that's one way of taking off. But let me show you the few ways of taking off, such as the stationary takeoff, the runaway takeoff, and the safest one, which is in the water takeoff. You have different ways of takeoff, okay? So you can take off from the beach, you can take off from a cliff, you can take off from a bridge, you can take off from a pier, you can take off from a house, you can take off from anywhere you want, okay? But the more and the much safer way of taking off is from the water by taking your board, going in the water, diving the kite, and then there we go. So that's the safest way. But if you want to show off and push the limits, then you can take off and try to take off from different places, okay? But again, you have to be very careful to find out which way the wind's coming, the direction of the wind. The best three directions of the wind is offshore, side offshore, and side shore. These three are the best conditions to take off from the beach, okay? Or a rock or anywhere else, which is a little bit safe, that will take you away from the hard object, okay? So you want to make sure before you take off, you want to check on the beach, throw some sand in the air or sand, and if the sand or grass coming back to your face, that means it's onshore, this is a no-no, because you're going to land behind you on parking lot, someone else's balcony. So you want to make sure, you know, onshore wind is a no-no to take off, okay? So again, when you're ready, you know, this video will show you how the different ways of doing it and the motion you need to do. But again, there's two ways of taking off. One of takeoff is stationary, so just like you put best way is with boots, okay? So you're on one spot and this is where you load and pop. Then the other way is the running method or the walking method, okay? So this is when you just run on the beach, you know, and with a kite and board in your hand, and then you just flip and do 360s or whatever, flip the boards, land and take off, okay? So you have a stationary takeoff and a running takeoff, okay? So stationary is very good with boots because you cannot run with the boots, but with the foot straps, you know, running and stationary is very good too, okay? But you need to make sure your feet are really shoved in the foot straps, because you don't want this to happen. So right now I'm going to show you these both ways. It's going to be with foot straps. I'm going to show you how to do a stationary takeoff and also a running takeoff. Okay, so let's go and start with the stationary takeoff because it's easier, and then go to the running takeoff. But first, let me change and suit up so I can take you through this. And I'm gonna use foot straps because I love foot straps. I feel comfortable with foot straps. So I'll be using foot straps for the stationary takeoff and of course the running or walking takeoff. So let's go and do this. Okay, first of all, before any takeoffs, you want to make sure which way the wind's coming from. In this situation, it's coming totally offshore, which is perfect. So let's do this. Okay, you're ready to take off, but first we need to make sure if you're going to land regular or goofy, depending on the angle of the beach and the direction of the wind. Once you have all this figured out, you want to make sure you position your board on a good angle so you can load and pop better. In this situation, I will be landing regular, which is my left foot forward. So bring your kite to 10 and then start pulling your backhand. At the same time, lean back using edge of your boat, and in order to get that explosion, you're going to want to push really hard up and away from the kite. And once you get to that point, you want to start pulling your front hand to redirect your kite and start kiting. So once again, make sure your feet are really well strapped in your foot straps, and then bring your kite at 10 o'clock and then pull your backhand at the same time, lean back to get that explosion and pull your front hand. And then when you land, you're all set to go. Okay, once again, very important. Make sure you lean back against the board and the kite so you can really get that pop and explosion. And at the same time, once you do that, pull your front hand to redirect the kite. Great, so now let's put some spice into our stationary takeoff, and let's take off from a bench on top of a pier just to put some excitement. So put your kite at 10 o'clock. It's not very windy as you can see, it's blowing maybe 14. Okay, then load, lean back and push for the explosion. And then right there, redirect the kite by pulling your front hand and look at you landing. There we go. Okay, now make sure the wind is not side onshore or onshore because it is a no-no, okay? But I will try to show you what happens in case. So bring the board a bit closer to the water, because I know I am going to land again on the beach. So you're going to want to load, bring your kite 2 o'clock, then pull your front hand, load, and pop. And right there, I know I'm not going anywhere. I'm landing on the beach. So let's do that again, but this time I'm going to push my body forward towards the water and back. So again, load, push forward, and land. Wow, that was close. Okay, once again, make sure your feet are stuck very well in your foot straps, because if you don't, you're going to take off without your board and you look very stupid landing. So make sure your feet are really stuck in the foot strap so you can take off really well so the board stays with you, okay? So you can land like a pro. Same thing goes with the takeoff while running, okay? You want to make sure the direction of the wind is perfectly. Right now it's side offshore, which is great, okay? So then make sure also you have a stopper, because a stopper on your bar is very good, because that's how you can fly your kite in one hand, use one hand. So then grab your board and start running. And right there, this is why you need a stopper, because with one hand I can fly the kite while the other hand is holding the board. So it's very good to have a stopper on your bar, because a stopper really helps you use only one hand on your bar, you know, and get the power that you need. Just with one hand, you can pull it on one side and then let it go and grab the other side and pull. And then the other hand is using the board. Make sure you have a stopper to make things much easier. Same thing here, see? You run, go up point, and with the other hand you release and grab the other side of the bar, and then with the other hand you use the board. Again, once again, we're going to do a trick here. We're going to pull one side, and when we're ready, I release my hand, put on the other side, and then push off, flip the board, grab it, while your other hand always has control of the kite. So in order to have power all the time, you want to make sure to have a stopper on your bar, okay? So you can control the kite with one hand, and the other hand is controlling the board. And at the same time, I'm using one hand to control both sides of the bar. So let's go in more details on the running part, how to edge while you're running and running against the kite, and how to pop and how to pull your hand, okay? Using one hand to do all that while the other hand is holding the board. Okay, once again, the stopper ball plays a major part of the running takeoff, okay? Especially if it's not very windy, you need as much power on the kite. If it's windy, very windy, then the stopper ball, you can push it away from you, okay? So right now we place the kite at 10 o'clock, and we're going to land regular, which is left foot forward. So we're going to start running and put our front hand on the back of the bar and run against the wind, upwind, so you can stretch those lines. And as soon as you feel a tug on the kite and power, you're going to release your front hand from the back and grab the front of the bar and immediately pull the front. At the same time, push off your legs and bring your board to your feet. And then put your hand back onto the bar and redirect the kite towards your left so you can land. Once again, same move but from a different angle. As you can see, I'm pulling the back of the bar with my front hand. And as soon as I feel the power, I'm going to release my front hand, put it in front of the bar, push, bring the board to my feet, and then release my hand and put it back to the bar. Okay, once again, just to make sure you understand the concept of the running takeoff. Okay, so right now we're going to land again regular, which is left foot forward. So I'm going to put the kite at 10 o'clock, okay, right there. But as you can see, I feel that there's not much power, so I want a lot of power so I can control the kite with one hand. So I'm going to bring the stopper really close. I'm going to start pulling the back of the bar with my front hand. And you see, I reset the stopper closer, start running, pull the bar with my front hand and push off, bring my hand in front, bring the board in my feet, and then place my back hand to the bar and land. The reason you need a stopper is so you can fly the kite with one hand, okay? And the other hand will be holding your board, okay? So once you're ready, you have your kite at 10 o'clock, you're ready, start walking, okay? And then what you do is when you start walking, you change the arm and you put on the other side of the bar, the back, and you start pulling. So the kite from 10, 11 can start going to 12, 1, 2 o'clock. So you pull it hard and immediately you start running, but run upwind against the kite to put tension on the lines. And then you're going to feel it like around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, it's going to pull really hard. And this is when you push, okay? And at the same time, you release that bar to grab the front because you don't want your kite to go further back on your right. So you release the hand, put it in front and start pulling. So the kite will be at 2 o'clock, but now by pulling it, it's going to start coming back. And now you're in the air, and with the other hand, you can start flipping the board, concentrate, or 360, but still always pulling your left, okay? And then once you do, and you put your board back in your foot, and you're ready to land, this is when you release your hand and you put the second hand on the bar to really have total control of the kite, and then you land and you're perfect. So again, these methods are kind of dangerous and tricky, so be very careful out there and have an epic session. Wait, hold on. If a 75-year-old woman can do it, I guess you can do it too.